Haunted House Studios presents Somnarium. Episode 14. Past, Present, Future. Whoa, calm down. Calm down. I can't make out a word you're saying.
Okay, no. Listen, wait, hold on. Sorry, I had this in order in my head.
Sit down first.
I don't want to sit down.
Maddie.
Okay. Fine. There was an old man.
What?
In the apartment. My old apartment. There's an old man living there now. Not like old, but old enough that I actually felt bad about lying to him.
You got in?
Of course I got in.
Wait, how?
I knocked on the door like a normal person, thank you very much.
And he just let you in?
Not immediately. First he looked at me like I was there to sell him something.
Maddie.
Right. Sorry. Well, I told him that I used to live there. That my mom and I used to live there when I was younger.
Your mom?
Yeah, affected mom. Keep up. I told him that she had passed recently, and, I don't know, wanted to see the place one last time before leaving the city. Just for closure.
And he believed that?
Apparently I look sincere when I lie under pressure.
That's not reassuring.
It gets worse. He got all sympathetic, started apologizing, said of course I could come in.
Wow.
Yeah. And then he offered me coffee.
Please tell me you didn't stay for coffee.
I had to.
You did not have to.
Alex, what am I supposed to say? No thanks, grieving daughter don't drink coffee, and sprint to the bedroom?
Fair point.
Exactly. So now I'm sitting here in my old living room holding this mug of coffee that I don't want, while this very kind man tells me all about his back problems and the state of the building's plumbing.
Please tell me this is going somewhere.
I'm building tension.
You're enjoying this.
A little. Anyways, I need an excuse to get away from him, so eventually I asked if I could use the bathroom, and he says yes, only the bathroom wasn't the point.
Your old room.
My old room.
And
he hadn't changed much, actually. Different furniture, different wallpaper, but I don't know. Do you ever walk into a place and your body remembers it before your head does?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like that. Anyways, so I shut the door, I got down on the floor, and I started prying up the board.
With what?
Hairpin.
Of course.
Don't sound so surprised.
Did it work?
Eventually. But the whole time I'm on my knees in this stranger's bedroom, thinking if he opens this door, I am going to prison for being the world's creepiest fake mourner.
Maddie.
And then I hear footsteps.
No.
Yes.
What did you do?
I froze. What do you think I did? I froze, and I stared at the door like that was going to help.
Did he come in?
No. He just knocked and asked if I was alright.
Unbelievable.
I had to answer in my sad, dead mom voice.
Your what?
You know, softer. Fragile. Yeah. Sorry, just memories.
That's horrible.
It worked. And then I got it.
The backup?
The backup. Still wrapped exactly how I left it.
You actually got it.
I actually got it.
So, why are you still panicking?
Because then I had to leave without looking like I had just committed a felony.
Ah.
Yeah. So, I put the floorboard back, stood up, looked in the mirror for half a second and thought, you look deeply suspicious. And then walked back out there and somehow continued to be a grieving daughter while this man offered me more coffee.
Please tell me you didn't take more coffee.
No, I said I should really get going. And then he told me my mother would have been happy I came back.
Ouch.
That one almost got me, actually. Then I thanked him, left, got to the stairwell, and only started breathing properly again when I hit the street.
And you came straight here?
Straight here.
Is that it?
Yep.
You have it with you right now?
I wasn't gonna leave it in the car, Alex.
No, fair point. Better that it's inside somewhere safe. So, should we crack into it?
I was hoping you'd ask. What was the password again?
You're fucking joking, right?
I'm kidding. You should have seen the look on your face.
Ha ha ha. Very funny. So, where do we start?
Same way you did. We open the first file that presents itself and keep searching from there.
Alright, well, she's all yours.
What, you want me to record this?
And read it out loud, yes?
Why?
Documentation purposes.
Fine. Let's see what we have here. Subject intake. Subject 46. Chamber S.014. Pattern loss. Subject transferred from institute to closed testing facility. Catalyst event likely already occurred. Subject reports persistent sleep disturbance, recurrent nightmares, and prolonged grief response following the death of his girlfriend approximately 9 months prior to intake. Subject had intended to propose prior to catalyst event and remains fixated on an unrealized future with the deceased. Preliminary interviews indicate persistent denial of final loss and continued preoccupation with the future the subject believes was taken from him. Suitable for loss pattern reinforcement and guided threshold exposure. Attached is the subject's statement on intake. Subject statement. I don't know how many times I've gone over it now, trying to find the point where it could have gone differently. People tell me this isn't helping, that going over the same memories, the same conversations, the same plans isn't going to change anything. I know that, but knowing and stopping are two different things. Her name was Claire. We were together for a little over 4 years, long enough that everything in my life just started to feel like it had her in it. Not in some dramatic way, just normal things. Her shoes by the door, her side of the bed, her mug that I always pretended I was going to throw out because it was chipped, and she always said she liked it better that way. The kinds of things you stop noticing when they're there every day, but then can't stop noticing once they're not. I was going to propose to her. That's the part I keep getting stuck on. I had already decided. There wasn't any doubt about that. I'd bought the ring months before she died. I spent longer choosing it than I want to admit. I kept thinking that it had to be right. Didn't have to be flashy, just right for her. Something simple, something she'd actually wear. I should have done it sooner. That is probably the ugliest sentence in my head, because it never leaves. I kept waiting for the right moment. Work was busy. She was stressed. We had a trip planned later in the year, and I thought maybe that would be a better time. I told myself I wanted it to be special. I told myself there was no rush. I told myself I had time. I really believed that. And then she died before any of it could happen. I don't really want to write out every detail of that part. I can if I have to, but I don't know what good it'll do. It was sudden, unexpected. One of those things people describe in short words because the longer version doesn't feel more real, just more cruel. What matters is that one day she was here, and then she wasn't. Since then, I haven't been sleeping properly. At first I thought that was normal, or at least normal enough that it would pass on its own. Everyone says grief does strange things to sleep. They say give it time. They say the body adjusts. They say a lot of things when they don't know what to tell you. But it hasn't gotten better. If anything, it's gotten worse. I have trouble falling asleep because as soon as everything gets quiet, my head starts going back through all the things I didn't do. Not just the proposal, everything. Trips we talked about taking, places we said we'd go. All the stupid little future things you build with another person without even realizing you're building them. I keep thinking about how solid it felt at the time. Like our life was already there waiting for us, and we just had to keep moving forward. Now, all I can think about is how much of it never happened. When I do sleep, I dream about her. Or about us, I guess. Not always directly. Sometimes it's just the feeling of her being there. Sometimes it's a memory that starts out normal and then turns into something else. Sometimes I wake up with this awful sense that I was just talking to her, or that I almost reach her, and then it's gone before I can hold on to it. Mornings are usually the worst. Waking up and remembering all over again feels wrong in a way I still can't explain. It's like my body forgets for a few seconds, and then my mind catches up, and I have to lose her again before I've even gotten out of bed. I know people probably hear this and think I'm refusing to accept what happened. Maybe they're right. I can say she's dead, I'm not delusional. I know what happened. I know she's not coming back. But knowing isn't the same thing as feeling like it's real. What feels real is everything that was about to happen. Everything that was meant to happen. The version of our life that still feels close enough to touch if I think about it hard enough. That's the part I can't let go of. It isn't just losing her, it's losing the future that went with her. And I know that probably sounds dramatic, but I don't mean it in that way. I mean the very ordinary things, the life we would have had, the apartment we talked about moving out of eventually, the trip we kept putting off until we had more money. The way I thought I'd ask her, and the way I thought she'd laugh at first because she'd figure it out before I got the words out properly. The things that were supposed to become memories and never got the chance. I keep going back to that same thought over and over. If I had done it sooner, if I hadn't waited, if I had stopped treating the future like something guaranteed. I know this isn't rational. I know proposing sooner wouldn't have changed what happened. At least, I don't think it would have. But grief has a strange way of planting doubt in your head. That's why I'm here, I guess. I'm tired all the time. I dread going to sleep because I know it'll just drag all of this back up again. And then I wake up and it feels like I haven't rested at all. It feels like I've spent the whole night trapped inside the same few thoughts. I don't want to keep living like this. I don't know what better is supposed to look like right now. I don't know if I want help sleeping, or help grieving, or help with whatever is wrong with me that keeps me circling back to the same unfinished parts of my life over and over again. I just know I can't keep doing this by myself. Experiment conditions. Chamber S.014 was prepared prior to subject arrival as a close reconstruction of the bedroom formerly shared by the subject and the deceased. Furniture placement, lighting, and personal effects were arranged to reflect the subject's account of the space as accurately as possible. The purpose of the chamber was to maintain emotional familiarity while reinforcing the subject's fixation on interrupted domestic continuity, unrealized milestones, and unresolved attachment to the deceased. Subject Journal, Day 1. I knew what they were trying to do the second they shut the door behind me. The room was wrong, but only in the way that something can be wrong when it's almost perfect. It's supposed to be our bedroom. Not exactly. Not down to every inch, but close enough that I just stood there staring at it after they left. The bed's in the right place. The wardrobe against the same wall. There's a chair by the window where there used to be one in our room, and the curtains are close enough in color that for a second I thought that they might actually be the same. At first, I thought maybe they just built it from what I told them. I probably told them too much. Every time someone asks me to explain what's been happening, I end up taking longer than I mean to. So I saw the room and thought, fine, all right. This is their idea of treatment. Make me sit in it. Make me look at it. Make me deal with it. Then I started noticing the details. There's a sweater folded on the chair by the window. Not just thrown there, folded neatly. Sleeves tucked in, collar turned under, flattened into the same careful square that Claire always did when she was trying to keep things tidy without actually putting things away. I don't know why that was the thing that got to me, but it was. Anyone can copy furniture. Anyone can guess where the bed goes. But that wasn't furniture. That was a habit. A small, private thing. The sort of thing nobody should know. That wasn't all. The book on the bedside table on her side was the one she had always meant to finish. The wardrobe door catches before it opens all the way, just like ours did. The pillow's flatter on one side than the other. Her side. That's when it stopped feeling like a room and started feeling like something built to get inside my head. I walked around it twice before I sat down. Checked drawers, looked under the bed, opened the wardrobe. I don't even know what I was expecting to find. Cameras, maybe? Or something obvious that would make this feel less personal. Instead, it got worse the more I looked. A scarf over the chair, a hair tie on the dresser, a candle that smells close enough to the one she used to buy that I had to put it back down straight away. They told me to write everything down. Said it was important that I keep a record of how the room affects me. What I remember, what I feel, whether the familiarity helps or makes things worse. It doesn't help. It feels like being watched by someone who studied us when we weren't looking. There's one thing I still haven't touched. On the nightstand, on my side, there's a small square box. I haven't opened it. Just having it there is enough. So far, it's just been quiet. I've been sitting here, waiting for something to happen, which probably sounds stupid, but that's what this place does. It makes everything feel like it's about to mean something. I keep catching myself listening for her anyway. Thinking I heard the smallest movement, and then realizing it was nothing. That's another thing I hate about it. It makes me expect her. Not in some impossible way, just in small, stupid ways. The kind that you build up after living with someone for years. I keep thinking I can hear her in the other room. That I might turn and see her standing there folding that sweater. And then remembering. Again. I don't know how long they plan to keep me here. I don't know if this is really treatment or if I made a mistake agreeing to it. What I do know is that whoever put this room together knew too much. Subject Journal, Day 2. Something changed. I noticed it as soon as I woke up, before I could even say what it was. The sweater on the chair was still there, but folded differently. Not badly, not obviously, just wrong. Claire used to tuck the left sleeve in first. Here, it was the other way around. That sounds insane written down, I know, but when you lived with someone that long, you notice things like that without meaning to. There were other changes too. The book on her side of the bed was open now. I know it wasn't yesterday. I never touched it. And then there was the brochure on the dresser. It was the trip we were supposed to take. Same place, same photos on the front, except we never had one like that in our room. We talked about going, we planned it, but we never booked anything. I heard something around midday. A soft sound from behind me, like someone shifting their weight on the bed. I turned around right away. No one was there. Later, I heard it again, this time from near the bathroom door. Not a voice, just the sound of movement. Fabric, maybe. I went to look, and there was nothing there either. I started checking the room without thinking about it first. Drawers, wardrobe, under the bed, corners, the bathroom. Even though I know she isn't there. Every time I tell myself I'm finally done this time, I hear something and do it all over again. I still haven't opened that box. Now, it feels like it's waiting for me. Subject Journal, Day 3. They brought in the scrapbook today. Not a copy, not something made to look like it. Mine. Ours. I knew it the second I saw the bent corner on the back cover. Claire dropped it once when she was moving things off the coffee table, and it never sat flat properly after that. I know that book. We started it together, but I spent hours on it after she died, compiling all the little things she left behind. Tickets, photos, little scraps of paper, everything I was afraid I'd forget if I didn't keep them somewhere. I don't know how it got here. I don't know if they took it from the apartment, or if I told them enough that they made something close enough to fool me. I keep going back and forth on that, and honestly I don't know which is worse. The first few pages were normal. Or normal enough. Photos of us out to dinner, her face hidden behind her hair because she hated noticing the camera. A picture of the two of us on the couch that I almost skipped past because looking at it made my chest hurt. Then it started changing. At first I thought I was just tired. One picture of her at the park looked slightly off. Not obviously wrong, just different. Her smile looked tighter. Her eyes weren't on me anymore. They were on the camera. Further in, there was a picture of the two of us standing in front of a train station. We never took that trip. We talked about it for months. We looked at hotels. She kept sending me places she wanted to see, but we never went. There is no photo from that trip because there was no trip. But there it was anyway. Me with one arm around her, Claire smiling at the camera like it actually happened. I kept turning pages after that, even though I knew I shouldn't. Every few pages something was wrong. A restaurant we'd never been to. Her wearing a dress she never owned. The two of us somewhere beautiful and bright and impossible. All the things we said we'd do later laid out in glossy little squares like memories. I got to a page near the back, and there was a photo of her sitting on the edge of the bed in this room. This room. Same chair by the window, same sweater folded on it, same lamp, same angle. I dropped the book after that. I know they can do a lot in here. I know they've been moving things around, changing details, waiting for me to notice. But I never told them enough for that. I never could have. I was still staring at the floor where the scrapbook had fallen when I heard her voice. Not from the door, not from the bathroom, not half-hearted, not almost, not one of those sounds that could have been anything else if I wanted to lie to myself. Her voice. Right behind me. Soft. Close. "You were going to ask me." I turned around so fast I nearly fell. No one was there. The bed was pressed down on her side, like someone had just stood up from it. But I heard her. She was right behind me. Subject Journal, Day 4. I don't know what time it is anymore. The room's a mess. I did that. The chair's on its side, the drawers are out, the wardrobe door's hanging open. There are pages from the scrapbook all over the floor, some torn, some bent, some face down so I don't have to look at them. I kept thinking if I just found where her voice was coming from, I'd find her there waiting for me. It started again not long after I woke up. At first I only heard my name. Quiet. Close enough that I turned around before I even thought about it. There was no one there. Then I heard her laugh, soft, from somewhere near the bed. Later it was by the wardrobe. Then by the door. Every time I moved toward it, it was somewhere else. The box on the nightstand was open this morning. I know I didn't open it. There was no ring inside, just the shape of where it should have been. I stood there staring at it for a long time, longer than I want to admit. I kept thinking maybe I was remembering it wrong. Maybe I'd opened it yesterday and forgotten. Maybe they moved it while I was asleep. Maybe there was never anything in it at all, and that was the point. I don't know. I only know that after that, the room stopped feeling like a copy of something and started feeling like it knew exactly what it was doing. I've been hearing her more clearly ever since. Sometimes just my name, sometimes "come here," and once I swear she said, "You took too long." That's the one I can't get out of my head. Because she's right. I tore the room apart after that. I checked under the bed again, even though I knew she wouldn't be there. I pulled open every drawer, went through the wardrobe, checked the corners, pulled the curtains back, went to the bathroom. I even pressed my ear against the wall like maybe she'd be on the other side of it. Nothing. I'd have a moment to sit and think, maybe I'm losing my mind. Then I'd hear her again and start over. I know how this sounds written down. I know she's dead. I know that. I do. But every time she calls out to me, some part of me still believes something else for a second. It believes I can still reach her. It believes there's still time if I just move fast enough. If I open the right door, if I turn around at the right moment, get to the right side of the room, before she goes quiet again. I keep looking over my shoulder while I'm writing because I know I'm going to hear her again. I can feel it now, right before it happens. The whole room has gone still, so I know she's close. I'll find you, Claire. Observation log. Day 1. Subject remained at the chamber threshold for several moments before entering. Initial response was subdued but visibly tense. After entering, subject spent an extended period of time examining the room and its contents rather than settling into the space. Ring box placed on the right side nightstand was noticed early and repeatedly, but left unopened during initial observation period. No active environmental changes were introduced on the first day. Chamber reconstruction alone was enough to provoke visible distress, repeated inspection of the room, and continued focus on selected objects tied to the deceased. Day 2. Minor environmental changes were introduced during sleep period, including altered arrangement of selected personal items, placement of material linked to unrealized shared plans, and initial false proximity cues from elsewhere in the room. Subject detected environmental inconsistencies quickly and responded with heightened agitation. Small domestic alterations produced stronger distress than broader chamber features. Subject repeatedly checked furniture, storage spaces, and adjoining bathroom following introduction of movement-adjacent audio cues. Response remained consistent with intended loss pattern progression. Day 3. Scrapbook was introduced as planned. Subject distress increased as pages were reviewed. Subject became increasingly agitated when presented with altered images suggesting unrealized shared experiences and future events that never took place. Reaction intensified further upon discovery of photograph linking the chamber itself to the scrapbook. At 14:26, subject reacted to apparent voice from within the room and turned sharply toward the bed. No corresponding stimulus had been introduced through approved chamber systems. A visible indentation was observed on the right side of the bed immediately following the event. Entity-linked manifestation confirmed. Day 4. Additional destabilization measures were introduced during overnight period. Subject response escalated following morning-wake cycle. By 8:40, chamber's contents had been heavily disturbed by subject. Subject displayed repeated searching behavior in response to apparent voice events and continued to move through the chamber in an attempt to locate a speaker within the space. The ring box was found open during morning review. Subject was observed fixating on the box for an extended period before distress increased further. No ring was present. Subject resumed journal writing at 11:13. During this period, he repeatedly stopped, looked over his shoulder, and appeared to react to sounds or speech not introduced through chamber systems. At 11:27, subject stopped writing, stood, and crossed to the far side of the room near the window chair. Subject then extended his right hand towards empty space at shoulder height and remained in that position for several seconds. Subject collapsed immediately after. No visible environmental change or manifestation was confirmed on chamber feed at the moment of collapse. Medical team entered at 11:31. Subject was pronounced dead on site. Preliminary cause of death: cardiac arrest. Experiment terminated. I knew these people were monsters, but this is just too... I don't even know the word I'm looking for. It's cruel, obviously, but it's more than that. It's invasive.
That was fucked up. Renwyck's files are different. Still disturbing, obviously, but different. She was trying to understand what was happening to these people.
And these people were trying to drag it out of them.
Looks that way.
They weren't just studying him. They built that room from his grief, took the worst thing that ever happened to him and turned it into a procedure.
Yeah, but what were they even trying to do? It sounds like they're just torturing people. They were clearly trying to accomplish something. All this was set up in a way unique to the subject. They were clearly trying to reach a specific outcome.
Your guess is as good as mine, but this can't be good. I'm afraid this is only the tip of the iceberg.
Near the end of the experiment, he was hearing and seeing things that weren't a part of the experiment. Was he hallucinating?
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised after what they put the guy through.
And then he just drops dead? Cardiac arrest? Really?
It's strangely poetic. Almost like he died of a broken heart.
I feel sorry for him. There's definitely more going on than what we're seeing. Also, what was that line about being transferred from the institute? What institute?
I don't know, but the answer has gotta be in here somewhere. So, Renwyck's files, and now these experiments. I think we're looking at the same thing from two different ends. What happened to May, what I found on that site, and now this. It's all connected.
I'm afraid of what we'll find next.
We're already in deeper than we thought we were.